All right, what is up? It's Haley Jones here, and I'm here with Taylor Camford. And we are at Onward Knoxville, which is physical therapy, which we're gonna get into it. But first of all, I want to read Taylor's bio to you because it's pretty impressive, okay? This is straight off the website, so if you need to read along, go to the website, Onward Knox, okay? So, Dr. Taylor Camford is a physical therapist located in Knoxville, Tennessee. He received his Doctor of Physical Therapy degree from the University of Tennessee Health Science Center in 2016. My mom also did the same, not in 2016. Anyways, he is the only PT in the state of Tennessee who is board certified in both orthopedics and sports physical therapy, which I think is so freaking cool. He is currently an adjunct faculty member with South College Doctor of Physical Therapy program within the musculoskeletal department. Oh my gosh. I promise I can read, okay? As an adjunct mentor, he served on the faculty with Upstream Rehabilitation Sports Residency Program from 2019 to 2021, working with the local minor league hockey team, Knoxville Ice Bears, and physical therapist with USA Weightlifting since 2017. Mm-hmm. That's cool. Are you afraid of the hockey players? Not really.
Not at all. They're more afraid of me than anything.
Oh yeah, because you're like, listen, I can get you right. Anyways, in 2021, he served on the medical team for the CrossFit semifinals competition in Knoxville. He has a passion to provide education and unique solutions to his patients in a one-on-one setting. There's so many questions I have. Okay, let's just derail this for a second.
Mm-hmm.
So being a physical therapist for hockey players, are you like primarily working mobility or injury, or like, I feel like hockey players are always injured. Maybe that's not correct.
Yeah, so over those 5 years, I had a few different roles. A lot of it was they would send me the players outside of the time when they're on ice. But then I would be covering the games as well. So we had an athletic trainer who would cover the stuff on the bench. But if an athlete was ever needed to get pulled, I would be back there with the physicians to make sure that we get them back on the ice as quick as possible.
Nice. Okay, that is cool. Okay, it's time for rapid fire, just so we can get to know you a little better.
All right.
Are you a Vol fan?
I am. As of probably 2014, I became a Vol fan. So I'm originally from the West Coast.
Yeah.
Pac-10 now, like Pac-12 kind of guy. Came out here. Once I saw the passion that the Vols fans have, I was like, I got to jump on board. This is my crew.
It's contagious.
It really is.
Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned being from the West. Where exactly are you from?
San Diego originally, and then moved up to Southern Oregon, so Medford, Oregon as well.
Oh. So, I'm gonna have to find a map for that. Okay, I don't know where that is.
Right on the Oregon-California border.
Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. So you're like pretty into mountains, I would say.
Mountain, outdoorsy, love the beach. Really jack of all trades. I like being outside in general. I like being active.
Nice. Okay, reading books or watching TV?
TV.
What are you watching right now?
I'm calling myself out here. Watching Love is Blind right now with my wife.
I'm watching it too. Oh my gosh. There's so many things we could talk about.
The drama.
It is so dramatic. Anyways, I want to talk about that. We're going to move on. Professional sports or college sports?
Professional football, college, everything else.
Who's your team?
For football?
Yeah.
Miami Dolphins.
What are your thoughts about Tua?
I think he has a really positive upside. I feel like he's made of cardboard and really fragile, and I hope he makes it through this next season.
I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah. Who's your favorite team?
Well, my team is the Steelers.
Okay.
I'm married into it, okay?
Yeah.
But, which is great, that's fine. But Tua, I'm like, why is he, I understand he's got like the heart of a lion, the heart of a champion, and he wants to play, but it's like, dude.
He's got the body of paper mache.
Yeah, like at what point are you like, you know what? I should not be on the field anymore.
Right.
And I feel like that point happened multiple times last season.
And I truly wish him the best of success.
Yeah,
when he's firing on all cylinders, that offense is clicking, and it is tough to defend. But you know, I'm really excited for what this upcoming season is. Like they've been making some really big moves, and it's gonna be fun.
Do you follow your coach on TikTok?
I do not, but I've seen some videos, and he's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, oh my gosh. You have everything he says, you're like, this guy. Anyways.
Yes.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Yeah. Chocolate or vanilla?
Ooh. I would go chocolate.
Boom. Yes. Okay. Working out or hanging out?
Working out. Working out is my hanging out.
Okay, I knew you were gonna say this.
I mean, look what's behind us. Like this.
I know,
This
right?
is my environment here. Like this is home.
Exactly. Okay. Football or basketball? I think we know the answer.
Football.
Okay. Mountains or beach?
Ooh, tough question. But I'm gonna say beach.
Which beach?
La Jolla Shores, just outside of San Diego.
If you had said Myrtle Beach,
No.
as a person from California, I was gonna be like, now hold on here.
If it was me, anything would be like somewhere in the Tampa, St. Pete area.
Yeah,
I like the Gulf beaches as well, but there's really nothing like a San Diego beach.
I know, never been. Anyways, I've been to California. I've not been to San Diego though. Anyways, okay, Peyton or Dolly?
Peyton.
You're the first person to say that.
It's the sports. It's the athlete in me.
I respect that. Okay, so let's move on. Although I really, really want to talk about Love is Blind, but we're not going to do that. Okay, so tell us about Onward. Tell us about, like, if you go to the website, it says, what's the exact quote is like, physical therapy reimagined.
Yes.
So tell us about that. You know, what do you do?
Yeah.
How are you different? How is it reimagined?
So the traditional setup of PT is, you go to like a medical facility, you're there 2-3 times a week, a lot of times repeating some of the same similar exercises on a regular basis. Yeah. We wanted to flip that model a little bit, and we wanted to do, I see my patients 1 time a week. With weekly check-ins, there's a lot more contact. So I keep a smaller caseload. Everything's one-on-one. I don't treat more than 25 patients in a week.
Oh wow, that's nice.
And so that allows me to have email check-ins, text check-ins. Like if someone needs me to progress their exercises, I'll record a video, send them to them directly, so they don't have to wait until the next visit.
That's nice.
So there's a lot more touch points, even though it's not necessarily in-clinic touch points.
Got it. Okay.
And what we found is that by taking a fitness-based approach to it, so we're also going to be, like as you see behind me, like we're going to load you with some different, with kettlebells, with barbell. We want to get you active and moving.
Yeah.
And promote general health and general wellness on top of just treating a shoulder or treating a knee.
Right.
And so that part also separates. So going back like 4 or 5 years ago, like towards the start of my career, the biggest weight we had in my clinic was 10 pounds. And I had an athlete come to me and said, I have trouble overhead squatting 350 pounds. And so I looked at him.
Me too, guys.
That's what I said.
Me too.
That's what I said. I was like, so you're like the rest of us.
Right. Hello.
And so I looked over and I had a 10 pound dumbbell.
Right.
And I was like, dude, I can't treat you.
Yeah.
And so not everybody needs to overhead squat. Not
right.
That's a very small population.
I do. Yeah, I know.
But I wanted to have the opportunity to treat that population.
Right.
And just give people an environment that is welcoming to the active individual.
Yeah.
Like when they come in, they see a bike, they see a rower. I have a squat rack here next to me. Like it welcomes people who want to be active.
Right.
And it takes down that intimidation factor. People who are like, I don't really know what about it, what's going on with a gym setting.
Right.
So they enter here in a one-on-one capacity if they want to like initiate some like basic fitness programming, and we can teach them how to do those things too. So it's not just injury recovery. I also do some like proactive medicine and trying to get people to work on their form, work on their technique,
right,
and build confidence in the person.
So it sounds like a couple of things you were saying is like more touch points, like more accessibility to you beyond just like the treatment time.
Correct.
And then also kind of really, because I don't want to say I consider myself an athlete, but like I have been to physical therapy before, and when I went, I felt like I don't belong here because like I'm the youngest person here by like 30 years.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to come, like I feel like I'm going there to die. Not really, but that's kind of how I felt. And so like when I walked in here, I was like, okay, I can get down with this. Like, so it seems like that's kind of, it's more of a space for almost an athlete in a sense, but it's not like we're just going there and doing that little arm machine.
No, like everything that we're doing is going to be with purpose. Like if you're spending some time on cardio, we're going to really elevate the heart rate. We're going to get you sweating. Yeah. Like I don't want people coming in jeans and like a flannel. Like you're doing your rehab in
like
fitness
actively.
attire. Yeah, it is physical therapy. We're going to get you moving a little bit. So
when it comes to like mobility, what are like markers of like good I don't know if good is the right word, but like what is good mobility?
So this is where the professor in me will say the answer is always it depends. It truly depends on what are the activities you're trying to do.
Yeah.
So for a baseball player, they need a lot more external rotation than say a hockey player does.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be activity to activity dependent. But at the same time, like we want to have some like full active shoulder range of motion. If I'm trying to get somebody to squat, they need to have a certain amount of rotation within their hips. They need to have the ability to flex their hips up past 90 degrees.
Yeah.
And then from there we work not just on available range of motion, but the control through the motion.
Right.
Because just because you can pull your leg up into your chest,
right,
doesn't mean you can squat all the way down. It has to be there's a combination between the control and the available range.
So it depends on the movement you're really trying to do, like what you're trying to do when it comes to like good mobility.
Absolutely. And I mean, so like yoga is not necessarily for everybody, but I do.
What? Yeah, no, I'm just kidding.
Some people just don't relate. They don't. It doesn't jive with their mentality.
Right.
But I will try and incorporate some like yoga poses, yoga movements in there because it's like sustained patterns of range. You're working on the control and the motion at the same time. I've got some great friends and connections around the area with some yoga studios that I'll send some of my patients to, and we'll kind of collaborate with each other.
That's cool.
And so like it's pretty cool to be able to use the community in a positive way to benefit our athletes and our patients.
So is your ideal client like, or it could be anybody, but like when you think about who you feel like you best serve, who would that be?
The motivated, active individual who's just missing something. There's a missing piece to get them to the full capacity where they want to be. Okay. Whether that's mobility or strength or pain. I mean, when people think PT, they think pain.
Right.
And I got to work myself out of something. And I would say probably 70% or so of my patients fit that category.
Okay.
But then I've got people who are training for a triathlon and want to make sure that their body stays healthy throughout the whole plan. So we're doing like recovery work mixed in with progressive like accessory work.
That's cool.
And doing maintenance stuff there. I've got some people who are prepping for a competition and they need to learn certain movements, and so all we're doing is working on those specific movements.
That's cool.
I've got some people in the older adult category who I see every once in a while, and we're working on their balance. And if they may have fallen recently and they fear falling, and so we teach them like how to get up from the ground. And so we treat the whole spectrum. It doesn't have to be just the athlete. I'm looking for just the person that wants
like a motivated person.
A motivated person because and I will say it's because of our model, because we're one time a week.
Right.
If you only came and did the things one time a week and you never touched the accessory work, never made contact with me or anything like that, it's probably not the right model for you. You're probably not gonna. It's a waste of money, waste of time.
Right.
Versus those who are going to be doing the stuff in between. My goal is ultimately to be a coach and to empower you to get yourself better.
Right.
And if you kind of follow the plan, it works out really well. The results are awesome. It's been phenomenal.
So are you like all ages, or like what's your kind of?
To an extent. So I treat up to the age of 65.
Okay.
And I don't work with with the Medicare population.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now, let's talk about pain for a second.
Okay.
So I personally have a bad tendency just to like push myself regardless of like whatever pain. Mm-hmm. So when you're like teaching people like when to stop, like this is good pain versus like, I don't know if it's good pain, but like what is the line? Yeah,
and so pain is, to me, it's a fun topic. Like, this is the world that I love. So I don't look at pain as like a necessarily a site of a lesion or something like that. Like pain to me does not equal damage.
Yeah.
Pain is a warning sign. Okay. And so I use the analogy of like an alarm system on a house. So we'll use we'll put it in your world.
Let's go.
Look at this. All right. So if the alarm system is really like the settings are turned low.
Yeah.
A car can come up and park in your driveway and nothing's going to go off.
Yeah.
But if that dial's turned way up, a leaf could blow across it and it lights up the signal.
Yeah.
And so when we have something happen to our body, it dials up that signal. And so it doesn't take as much for us to feel a response.
Right.
And so I'm gonna go back with the it depends answer. There's a lot of variability.
Right.
So with people who have just had an injury, like it's really just an acute flare of pain, I'm gonna be a little bit more like cautious on far as how much I want to push you.
Yeah.
And there's some different parameters of what I look at, but as a general rule of thumb, like that first week or so, we're gonna make sure we put that fire out and calm things down, and then from there, I'm okay to work through a little bit. I kind of use if we're using that traditional like 0 to 10 scale.
Yeah.
I'll probably say 3 to 4 out of 10. I'm okay with, as long as it goes away within 24 hours.
Yeah.
If you're pushing like 5, 6, 7, we probably need to dial the dose down a little bit.
Back it up.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I have like, not that this is about me, but I had a ski accident like when I was 18, okay, in my left knee. Bad bone bruise, bad. And I don't think actually it's ever recovered. And I still will be like I ran a half marathon, the Knoxville half marathon a couple weeks ago, and I think my body is like, what are you actually doing to yourself? And I'm like, no, I have to keep running. So it's like, can you help people through that?
Absolutely.
That mental like,
Absolutely. And like I would say, probably 40% of our job is the physical, 60% of our job is the psychological. There's so much, especially something that happened, years ago. The brain kind of remembers. Right. But the brain can be reprogrammed and kind of and change over time. That's a process, but
you tell them.
Yeah, but it can be done. Like the body's such a wonderful thing, powerful thing, and it starts there in the brain.
Okay, so what's your thoughts on like how much people should be stretching? It depends.
No, I'm not gonna say it depends on this one. Like the traditional static stretching where you're just like leaning forward, holding your hamstrings. I don't promote that a whole lot. Okay. I promote just overall movement. I want people using their full range of motion.
Yeah. Okay.
And if you're using it, if you're squatting fully, if you're hanging from a bar, you're just using your body. Yeah. The stretching kind of takes care of itself.
Got it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, motion is lotion. We gotta keep it moving.
He's here with the quotes today.
That's right.
Okay, what are like mobility hacks people should know about? Or is that even a thing? I'm just curious, again, asking for my personal.
I'm gonna give one mobility hack here. Yeah. So if you contract again, so we'll take the stretching we just talked about a little bit. So I'm gonna do a cross-body stretch here. Yeah. So so right now I can reach my arm just kind of in my elbows right in front of my nose. If I pull into that stretch, you get a little pressure, and then I resist that pressure, so I'm pushing my arm back out into my hand and hold that for a few seconds, and then relax through. I can go a little bit further.
So you're saying push and
push out into your hand.
Yeah. Okay.
And then relax that push, and then just sink into the stretch a little bit further. And it tricks the nervous system to be like, oh, I can let go, and we didn't lengthen you anymore, but we relaxed that nervous system a little bit to allow you to use more range. And you do that over time, and then after that you follow it up with further exercise, and just after that one rep, I can go a few inches past my arm. Now again, I didn't change my range of motion. Like, so tomorrow I'll probably wake up, it'll be pretty similar. Right. But if you do that over and over, you can actually move the needle and make it a little bit better. Okay.
Is it true that you should be able to get off the floor without using your hands? Like,
if so, I'm failing.
Yes, I feel better about myself because every time I go to yoga, shout out to Amy, she's like, get up without helping yourself with your hands, and every time I'm like, hold on, I gotta use my hands.
I think in a perfect world, like we should be able to have that body control. Yeah. But there's so many factors at play that I mean, everybody's coming at it from a different starting point. Yeah. And if you have that as a goal, I think any progress towards that goal is going to be a sign of improved fitness and improved overall well-being. Yeah. But as far as like you're failing at life if you can't do it, like no. As long as you can get from point A to point B and we make that a little bit easier over time, you're moving in the right direction.
Several things that you like keep going to is like, what's your intention? Like having clear, even like you just said, if that's a goal of yours, like that's great. So I think that's cool. Like you're very goal oriented. Like what are we trying to do? And then what's our path to get there? It
Absolutely.
sounds like.
Yeah. Day one, when you come into a visit, like it's not just, I'm going to give you an example. Like people don't come in just for knee pain.
Yeah.
They come in because of what that knee pain represents to them. Not being able to get off the floor.
Okay.
Not being able to run the half marathon. Like there's always a deeper why.
Yeah.
And so it's finding that why. That's going to be what we're seeking on day one.
Yeah.
Once we do that, then we uncover the what. Like what is causing that to hurt.
Right.
And then we just peel back layer by layer. And so if you've already told me that your why, now I've got my whole plan of where I end.
Where are you going? Yeah.
Like reading a lot of leadership books and things, like I would say, like begin with the end in mind. Same thing happens in rehab. You need to have your finish point. You know where your starting point is, and then we fill the gaps.
Nice. So if someone came to you and they were like, I just want you to help me up level. You could kind of help figure out like, okay, what exactly does that mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Love it. Love it. I might be calling you later, Taylor.
Perfect. You know where to find us now.
I know. Okay. Is there anything else about like Onward that you want people to know? Because I talked about, I wanted to ask about pain. We talked about that. Oh, what's the balance between working out and mobility work? But it almost sounds like talking with you, they could be one and the same.
One and the same. So if I'm going to do just pure mobility work with somebody, I'm going to do that more on the front end. Okay. Use it as a warm-up, get the body's like temperature elevated, get the tissue ready to go to perform whatever activity they're about to do.
Yeah.
And then we're going to use the strength training, the fitness portion.
Got it.
Into that new range to kind of where it reinforces where that new range is.
Okay.
And so then it's kind of just stacking one block on top of the other.
Got it. So, and they are like interdependent then, I guess it sounds like. Like you need the, okay.
Absolutely.
5 years from now, Onward Knox will be...
Onward Knox will be in this same location. I have a 5-year lease. So
how convenient.
We will be in this same location. So currently it's myself and a massage therapist, and I am in September I'll be adding a pelvic floor therapist.
Okay.
Who again will be taking the same fitness forward approach, working with both male and female clients. Doing a lot more on like the postpartum side on the females, getting them back to working out, because that's a whole category of physical therapy that we could have a whole separate podcast on that alone.
We need to call my sister; she knows a lot about this.
Okay.
Anyways,
so we're gonna expand the team to 3 by September, and then my goal is to add one more clinician here. So I do more of the orthopedic, musculoskeletal, sports related PT, and so that would round out this site here in. Like in a downtown location. Yeah. In a couple of years, I do plan on branching out west and having a second location out west. Location to be determined, but the beginning of my career was out that way, so I know a lot of like more of the community involvement on that side of things, and so I feel like that would be a kind of almost like a welcome back to the western part of Knoxville.
West side,
and so I want to ultimately have 2 locations in Knoxville, and just continue just to support the community. We try to do a lot of community events and just be in the public eye. You said you just did the half marathon recently. Yeah. So on Saturdays from I think it was January through early April, they had a Saturday training run. And myself, my massage therapist, and my students, we were all kind of rotating times, and we were being there to provide just free complimentary services. One, get our name out there and just like let them know that we're there to serve this population. But 2, just like people need to help other people.
Right. So shifting gears a little bit, like what brought you to Knoxville in general?
What brought me to Knoxville, so sports, honestly. It was, I finished my baseball career down in the Chattanooga area in 2012. Then I went to grad school in Memphis. Yeah. So I'd already done the San Diego thing, been in a bigger city, did Memphis, didn't really care for Memphis, but I love the South. The people, the food, taught in Memphis love it.
My first 2 years, yeah.
And
so I hear what you're saying, yes and yes, yeah.
And so like I knew I wanted to be in the South in general. Yeah. I love college sports. And as a general rule, SEC, I was like, oh, you guys are pretty passionate about this stuff. Like, it's kind of hardcore. I like this. And so I wanted a city that was kind of mid-size and that had college sports. And then I was like, well, Knoxville really hits that. A lot of the SEC schools are in these like really rural towns. And then Knoxville's like, oh, there's actually some stuff to do. I'm drivable to Nashville, drivable to Atlanta, so I can go to concerts, like go to bigger sporting events. So I mean, like, there's plenty of things to do in a day.
Yeah.
And so like that, it was just that central hub. I loved it.
That is awesome. So what has it been like starting a business in the Knoxville area? Like what advice do you have for people that are thinking like maybe they want to have a business here, or like what would you say to those people?
Yeah, one, I gotta say, like I've been so thankful to the community of Knoxville for the support. Like I said, like I was out in the West Knoxville area for 6 years before I opened this place, and when I came out to this location, I didn't have any connections, didn't really know anybody, and so it was starting fresh. So as if somebody was moving into the area completely.
Yeah.
And just good, like other small business owners, it's a people helping people situation.
Yes, that's awesome.
Like I don't do any marketing on like Google or anything like that. It's all word of mouth and social media based.
Yeah.
And we're ready to hire.
We've killed it.
Within
is what you should say.
the first year. We really have. It's been so good, and I'm always kind of waiting for that lull to happen of like, oh, we're not getting any patients or something like that.
Yeah.
And so far it hasn't happened. The community's been very supportive, and it's been a nice steady growth period, and it's been awesome.
That is awesome.
And so just getting out there, I mean, there's some different community groups, some like business networking groups that meet throughout the week that I've kind of been connected with in and out, but I'm not a part of one. There's like the Knoxville entrepreneurial groups. There's the New to Knox groups. I mean, it's just all these people. Like there's
ways
like Knoxville,
to connect. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many ways to connect, and Southern people are just really friendly, and so like they're it's not hard to make a connection.
And if they're not, it's behind your back.
I will say it seems way more genuine than when I was out on the West Coast.
Ah, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I don't know. Well, I don't know. Like I've been briefly to California, but not like, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
But that makes me glad because we have so many people moving here, and I'm always worried like,
I know, but it's all my
people better
Californians
be
that are moving
nice.
here.
I know, but they're all cool. Like
So far.
every client that I've had from California is like the coolest person ever.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, so what's your biggest lesson learned when it comes to starting a business?
Oh, it would probably have to come into back into the construction days. Making sure that all your T's are crossed and I's are dotted when it comes to the permitting side of things. We had some delays, and some of it was within my control and some of it wasn't. But just learning patience, that the process does take a little bit of time, and then making sure that you're continuously communicating on, are we good on this, like on this line?
Yeah.
And that was just how I wish I kind of would have been a little bit more proactive on my communication side of things.
Okay. Yeah, but it's like you don't know what you don't know, like probably in a sense. Like you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like,
for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I read a couple how to start a business for dummies books type of thing. And then I had my consulting team that with Onward for our other locations, like they were super awesome. They provided a lot of just foundational information for me.
Yeah.
That I would have been really lost. But still, like it's a new endeavor.
Right.
Like I had managed a clinic, but I'd never owned a business. And then those are two very different things.
Yeah. How was that? Do you feel like you've now transitioned as like an owner versus managing, or like what is that? Because that for me is a personal challenge. Like growing my business, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so much more, like you can't be in it as much.
Right.
So I'm just curious about like, do you feel like you've been able to kind of pull out of the weeds and be like more over, or is that still a learning process for you?
I'm still in the weeds right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, just full transparency. I am, and it's not like I'm overwhelmed by any means.
Yeah.
It's just I am the sole clinician.
You are the guy.
I'm the clinician.
Right.
The janitorial crew, the marketing person, like
everything.
I get it. I am wearing all the hats, and so that it's time management, organization, and things like that. But when I start getting a larger staff, I'll start to delegate a little bit more of that, and it'll come in time.
Nice.
Yeah.
I keep telling myself that too. It'll come in time.
I feel like our personalities are very similar, and I don't know that it's ever going to go away.
I know.
My wife tells me it's never going to go away.
Well, I have a friend, she's like, your systems, Haley, your systems and procedures. I'm like, the system is I can do it faster, like, which is horrible.
Right.
Which is horrible. That's a horrible way to anyways, whatever. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Knoxville.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me your 3 favorite places to eat in Knoxville.
Okay.
No pressure.
All right, so am I calling these places out? Like, if it's
Yeah, you can say.
Okay, so my favorite just casual meal / beer is Abridged Brewery. Their pot roast.
The new one or Bearden Hill? The world headquarters or Bearden Hill?
I've only been to the world headquarters once, and so I'm gonna go off of what I truly know is on the Bearden Hill.
Yes.
I love their sours are delicious. Their pot roast nachos to die for, and so
I've not tried that.
Oh my gosh, you're missing out. It is literally the best plate in Knoxville.
Really?
So tasty. When I first read it, I was like, oh, that's kind of so gross. No. Yeah. So good.
Do they put potatoes on it?
I don't think so.
So it's like the roast.
It's just like purely the roast that's like with the jalapenos and the cheese and all. Just so good.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, it's like pot roast with like carrots and potatoes, but it sounds like it's like the meat.
Yeah.
Okay, so Abridged. That's a good call on that.
Yeah. Taco shop. So again, from California, I'm very picky on my taco shop. So a lot of the Tex-Mex places, I will eat there, but
I'll eat there.
But
if I'm
but it was not until I moved to Tennessee that I found out they put white cheese on everything and call it Mexican food.
Oh.
That's not a thing out west. So.
Yeah, and then when you go and ask for it, they're like, wait, what? Why?
Right. So right over here, like at the start of Cumberland on the Strip, Victor's Taco Shop. It is a hole in the wall. It is so good.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, you need to go there after this.
Okay.
So good.
Victor's Taco Shop.
Yep.
Okay.
And then
you have a taco recommendation or just like whatever?
California burrito is really my thing. Like, yeah, I've had their tacos. I've had their rolled tacos a couple of times. Also good, but I mean, it is one of the more.
Rolled taco. What is that like?
Like a taquito.
Yeah,
okay. So you have the meat and then it's just like rolled tortilla.
Got it. Okay.
And then one other place I would say, honestly, if you haven't been to the new Yeehaw Brewing.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Like the hot chicken. Now I will say, like I used to play kickball with some of the like managers and people that run it, and they played a trick on me, and I ordered the like 1 spice, and they gave me the 8 spice. They're great people, like they wouldn't do that as a regular customer. But man, my nose was sweating. Those are way hotter, and I don't do well with spice, and they knew that, and they got me.
I think even the mild is hot. But I'm like, I need to get I don't know what I need, the below the mild, but it's good though.
Yeah, and that's a great place to watch a game.
Yes,
like they've been streaming the Tennessee basketball games. Yes. They just started doing yoga on Saturdays there in the little grassy area.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It's really cool. They're doing some cool stuff with the community.
Yeah, I love that they're here. I love the location. I just think it's awesome for like North Knox, for that area.
I do too.
Love it.
I do too. Parking can be a little tricky, but if you're willing to walk, more than 200 feet, you'll find a spot.
You'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
Yeah. Okay, 3 favorite things to do in the Knoxville area.
Well, if I said Vols football, Vols basketball, Vols baseball.
Go eat tacos.
So like Tennessee sports in all capacities is so much fun. And so depending on the season, I will lump Tennessee sports into one category.
Okay, got it. I like it.
Just seasonal.
If you were gonna pick out of like baseball, basketball, football, I'm assuming baseball. Because you played baseball or no?
I did play baseball through college, but I mean you can't replicate the environment of Neyland Stadium. And so football.
Say it again for the people in the back.
Yeah. All you Californians coming out this way. There's nothing like the orange and white on the games, and I will say I was one of the people that judged. It was like, oh, USC football is like reigning supreme. No, it's so much different, and it's an experience unlike any other. But I loved what Coach Vitello's done with the baseball team. And
what's your take on the cheetah jacket? Is that like a thing in baseball? I'm like, why does he have that? Like,
every team has something, and so like. That's what Tennessee's rolling with, and I'm not going to judge because every team does a little something.
I mean, it seems a little loud, but also I'm not like it
is, but it got you talking about it. It got you talking about Tennessee baseball.
You're right.
It's working.
He's right.
Yeah.
He's right. Okay, so sports. What else?
Music. I've been super impressed with what the Mill and Mine, just as one venue has been doing. They've been bringing in a lot of good bands. Some of like the alt rock, some of the hard rock side of things. Like the music scene's done a really good job. I'd say in the last like 4 or 5 years, really taken off. And then I love the community sports aspect. So I play like slow pitch softball, I play kickball. I've done sand volleyball and like indoor volleyball. Yeah. So like the community aspect of like the sporting world, you can get really plugged in. So when I first moved here, the only people I knew were other PTs from my class.
Okay. It was kind of like a small.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so like I wanted to branch out and meet some new people, and so I joined a kickball league. I ended up meeting friends of my kickball people.
Yeah.
And so like it was the same circle, just kind of expanded a little bit.
Yeah, that's cool.
But it was just a great experience, and just I'm sure other cities have it too, but it was just very, very welcoming. I didn't feel intimidated just joining some random group.
I like it. Okay, last question. What's the most underrated thing about Knoxville?
Ooh, underrated.
Besides Victor's Tacos. I can't stop thinking about it. Okay, I'm like.
Honestly, like Victor's Tacos, but no. Underrated. Probably just how close you are to the mountains to get to a good hike.
Yes.
I mean, you can be like 30 minutes. You can get a pretty solid hike. 45 minutes to an hour drive. You're way up there, and you're pushing like the borders of the Appalachian Trail.
Yeah.
And like you really can't replicate that. Like it's pretty solid.
Love it. Okay. Anything we missed about Onward, about Knoxville, about your life story that you care to share here with us today?
No, I mean, I would say the one thing that we didn't touch on is that there's also something that is a little bit different from our PT side of things and Onward is on the payment side of things. So we don't work directly with insurance.
Okay.
So we're an out-of-network clinic.
Yeah.
If people want to utilize their insurance, we can provide them super bills, and we can do like the backdoor kind of billing side.
Yeah.
But what we found was that it was just one of those things where we didn't want a third party telling us how long we can treat somebody, for what we can treat somebody, and so we wanted to kind of take back the control and actually like see the person and make sure that we're able to help delineate what their care should actually be versus somebody who's sitting behind a computer. Right.
No, I think that's awesome. Yeah, I love that. I also think sometimes like self-care in general, like I understand the need for health insurance 100%, but I also think sometimes that can be a hurdle that demotivates people to take action.
Sure.
And like even in my own personal health journey, just like if I need help, like I'm gonna figure out how to get them, you know what I mean? So I just think that's like I understand, I get it all, but I also think that's also kind of speaks to the motivation of like wanting to be well, and it's like an active process.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say there is like a stigma on going the out-of-network route that it's more expensive and whatnot. But if just as an example, if we're doing one visit a week here versus 3 visits a week at let's say 2 to 3 visits a week at an insurance-based clinic, if you haven't met your deductible, you're still getting charged at a pretty good clip, and so you're missing work 2 to 3 times a week versus missing work once.
Right.
You're getting charged 2 to 3 times versus getting charged once, and so like the finances actually work out favorably, like mathematically.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't.
It doesn't
always.
You don't perceive it that way.
Correct.
Right,
because maybe you have a $40-$45 copay, but then 8 weeks later you get a bill on the back end, and you're just like, "Ooh, I didn't know that was coming."
Yeah.
And so like.
So essentially, don't mark it out just because of that reason. Like do your research, kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Like be willing to ask the questions, and if there are several quality like cash-based providers in town, and they provide a good product, and it's yes, I want to promote like Onward Knoxville, but like just promoting this side of medicine in general. Like there's a lot of great people out there, and it's. I will say it's a growing field, but it still hasn't reached the general population yet.
Yeah. So if somebody wants to work with you, if they want to connect with you, where do they find you? What's the best route to do so?
Yeah. So my business line goes directly to my cell. So that number is 865-590-6659. I almost forgot the number. So 865-590-6659. You can go to onwardknoxville.com. You can send me an email, Taylor@onwardknoxville.com. And then we're pretty active on social media, so Instagram and Facebook at Onward Knox.
So how far out does someone need to reach out to like get booked? Are you totally booked? Like what does that look like?
I am at probably 80% capacity at this time, and so I am actively taking new clients. I very seldom will see anybody same day when they call, but I can usually find a spot within the next 2 days, 1 to 2 days.
Yeah.
And then, but if I will always, well, I don't always, I will always recommend a just introductory phone call. Like, let's make sure that we're the right fit for each other.
Right.
Like, make sure because like, there are certain things I specialize in, and certain things that I feel more comfortable, like using the network of PTs around me to treat. And I'm fully comfortable like making the recommendation. Like, you know, I would love to treat you, but this person over here does a little bit better in this capacity, and so let's go that route. Like, ultimately, I want what's best for the patient, not just for the business.
Right. So get on the phone, make the call, and then he can kind of assess whether or not you might be the right fit. So
awesome.
Thank you so much, Taylor.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
We're gonna go offline and talk about Love Is Blind now.
So much drama.
I know, right? Anyways, well, thank you so much, Taylor. I appreciate it, and see you guys next time.
Thank you.